Hello and welcome back to True Crime Guys Podcast. I'm your host, Michael, and with me as always, my fellow Carolina compatriot over there, Andy. How's it going, bud?
It's going so good. I had some Southern cooking this week, Michael. Good.
That Southern cooking is always good. It's always good to have some leftovers in the fridge as well.
Oh, I've been living off of them.
Right?
It's weighing me down now.
Right. Let's focus on all the good things about Carolina before we get into this piece of shit that also came from one of the Carolinas. You know what I'm saying? But guys, we're glad you could join us today. And of course, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment below with your best Alec Murdaugh insult. We would appreciate that very much. We hope everyone had a safe and happy holiday week. We are recording this right after Thanksgiving, and we both have a little bit of the itis after all that Southern cooking, but I think we'll make it. I think we'll make it, Andy. You know?
I hope so, man. Like I said, I had to dial down the carbs for breakfast today.
It's the sweet potato casserole, man, for me. It's
that and the stuffing for me.
The stuffing, yes.
I'm a stuffing person. I don't know if you're a dressing. Is it stuffing? Dressing?
No, it's stuffing.
It's stuffing.
Yeah.
From the South. It's stuffing.
It's stuffing, yeah. But Andy, seriously, we got to stop talking about food, okay? Or we're gonna have to cut this video short, and I'm gonna have to go eat because it's too early, and I haven't eaten breakfast. So instead, I think it's time we get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode. God damn, now that sounds delicious. A little bit of eggs mixed in.
You can't. Okay, you gotta clear your brain, Michael.
I really got to clear my brain.
Get you a Snickers or something.
But guys, this week we're going to be talking about a case that has been sizzling on our back burner for some time, like some bacon, ever since the first headlines started coming out back in 2021. Now, we did discuss parts of it briefly on Strange Shorts a few times last year, but we think that we finally come to a point in the case where we can tell you guys the full story. That's what we like to do here at TCG. We don't like giving these half stories or having to go back and be like, okay, now we look like idiots because we jumped the gun on this case before all the information came out. But today, we're going to be diving into the case that's been happening in our own backyard down in South Carolina. The twisted tale of Alec Murdaugh and his twisted family. Well, some of them. A former South Carolina state prosecutor who comes from a line of prominent attorneys has been at the center of multiple investigations going back to February of 2019, with what originally appeared as a possible targeted hit on a local lawyer's family quickly spiraled into the twisting case that's come to be dubbed the Murdaugh Murders.
It just sounds like an old Matlock episode or something. Like it would be like a series on Matlock or Murder, She Wrote.
So much about this case does because it's such an old family name too. You know, it's just steeped in Southern history and culture, and everyone's heard of Murdaugh. You know what I mean? Isn't that Daredevil's real name?
Yeah, Matt Murdaugh.
Yeah. So, but yeah. But no, these guys are not the vigilante type. They're more of the villain type.
They're more of the kingpin type.
They're more of the kingpin type.
Yeah, how about that?
Exactly. With multiple bodies piling up and millions of dollars going missing over the years, the family that was once held in very high regard has now turned into a shining example of how recklessness and greed can corrupt even those whose job it is to uphold the law. Corrupt lawyers, Andy, you gotta be freaking kidding me, bro.
Corrupt lawmakers? Corrupt law officials?
Dude,
what?
You're living in some other world, Andy. You're making this stuff up.
Oh my God, and especially in a small southern town, there's never been a bit of corruption in one of those.
Never. But let's just see, okay, Andy? Let's just see. Let's take a crack at this Carolina clusterfuck and see what's going on, all right?
Yeah, okay. Let's take a swing at this.
All right. Bless your heart, Andy. Now, could you be a dear and roll that intro for me?
I swear to God, I will.
Meet the Murdaughs, they ain't going nowhere. They've been in the law for 100 years, working poor folks to sweat and tears. Meet the Murdaughs, when you do try not to stare. South Carolina royalty, just as cruel as they can be. Meet the Murdaughs, it's a big old family affair. Or at least that's how it used to be before Alec pruned the family tree. Meet the Murdaughs, they used to be millionaires. Now they're in the ground or in the pen, except for Buster-E's in the wind. Meet the Murdaughs. Meet the Murdaughs.
All right, guys, so let's start this case off learning a little bit about Alec Murdaugh and his family's long history with the law and in South Carolina, specifically in Hampton County. Now, you want to talk about generational wealth and power? This right here is a prime example. Alec Murdaugh's family has been deeply ingrained in the South Carolina legal system since 1910, when Alec's great-grandfather, Randolph Murdaugh Sr., founded his law office in Hampton County, an office that would be passed down through the Murdaugh family for the last 100 years.
That's quite a little inheritance to get there, isn't it?
It is, but it's their political position that they held, the solicitor.
Yeah.
That just strikes me as odd. Like, why is that not an elected official?
I think it kind of is, but it's not supposed to be a single family for the longest time.
Yeah, for 100 years.
Yeah,
But from 1920 to 2006, Randolph, his son, and his grandson, Alec's father, would all serve as the state prosecutor for South Carolina's 14th Circuit Court, making their law dynasty the longest family stretch in U.S. history. I just don't think this happens in a big city. It's just not going to.
It can't. Once you start getting into a metropolitan area like that, you're not going to be able to keep a family in power that long.
Absolutely not. For 86 years straight, a Murdaugh was the state's prosecutor for the area around Hampton County. No joke. While eventually the state would prohibit lawyers from serving as a state prosecutor and a private attorney, Alec Murdaugh would continue to volunteer prosecutors who were working with his father, all while continuing to practice law out of the family's law firm, which up until recent events was titled Peters, Murdaugh, Parker, Eltsroth, and Detrick Pumpt. I like to call it Pumpt.
I kept saying
like that?
I kept saying pimped. It's just like P-A-M-P-D, pimped.
But only now, of course, Murdaugh has been removed, and it's just the Parker Law Group. Actually, they removed almost everybody. Why does Parker just get to stay?
Well, because if it was Peter Parker, then it would be Spider-Man's law firm.
That's true.
That's just
that's so weird.
Spider-Man doesn't practice law. He just enforces the law.
That's right. Friendly neighborhood Spider-Man down there in the Hamptons.
Yes, Charleston style Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Just blessing everybody's heart as he whipped by.
Yeah, I could see the confusion there. But guys, let's go into a little history about Alec Murdaugh. He was born in May of 1967 and would stay true to the family tradition of studying law at the University of South Carolina. Go Gamecocks, right? It was there that he met his future wife, Margaret Maggie Branstetter. Branstetter? Did I say that right?
Branstetter, yeah.
Okay, Maggie Branstetter. The couple would go on to marry in 1993 and have 2 sons together, Buster and Paul. What's Buster's real name, man? I couldn't find that anywhere.
It is Buster.
It's on his birth certificate. It's Buster.
His name is Buster, and he's the firstborn. Like, how do you look at your first? That looks like a Buster to me.
Looks like a Buster to me.
Yeah.
Wow. I guess they just wanted a completely different name. I don't know. It sounds like a baseball name from like the 40s. You know what I'm saying? It's all Buster McGee on the mound, and he's.
Yeah. All I can think of was Arrested Development. It was just like, you got the one son who's destined to inherit the law firm, and then you got Buster.
When was he born? But the Murdaugh family would live in abundance for the next almost 30 years, spending their time between a lavish beach house, multiple private islands, and a sprawling 1,700-acre area of land that had a ranch-style house built on it. That estate was amazing.
Oh, yeah,
I must say,
estate, I think it was called.
There's some gorgeous farmland out in South Carolina. Just flat, sprawling, open meadows and then woods surrounding them. It's gorgeous. However, the family also had a darker side filled with greed and recklessness. Hence, they're the topic of today's show. Both Alec and his sons were accused of struggling with substance abuse and excessive drinking. After years of extravagant spending and lavish lifestyles, Alec attracted federal attention for various financial crimes such as fraud, embezzlement, and multiple attempts at insurance scams. Now, these alleged crimes, amounting to an estimated $8.5 million stolen, would unfortunately end with multiple homicides.
Yeah, once you start getting that much money missing, bodies start piling up.
Apparently. So let's talk about these murders, shall we, Andy?
I think we got a few to go through.
We do. We're going to start back in 2015 with the death of Stephen Smith, the first of several deaths surrounding Alec Murdaugh, but possibly the last one that he'll be connected to. On July 8, 2015, Stephen, a 19-year-old Hampton student, called his mother to let her know that he was running out of fuel. Unfortunately, that was the last anyone ever heard from Stephen Smith. His body was discovered lying on the road, several miles away from his vehicle. Stephen had suffered severe blunt force trauma, and his mother had stated that his body was sprawled out in the road like a snow angel. Highway patrol authorities initially presumed Stephen to be the victim of a hit and run, thinking perhaps after walking away from his car to fetch gas, he was struck by another driver who then fled the scene. Surprisingly, the case was closed, ignoring observations from the police that indicated that Stephen's death was no accident, but a homicide. When the word got out that the crime scene appeared to be arranged, rumors started flying.
As they do in a small southern town.
Yes, they do.
The fastest way tea gets spilled.
More than rumors. If you watch the documentary on HBO, it is far more than rumors. Literally everyone questioned knew who did this.
Yeah.
They all knew who did this. Rumors that Smith was allegedly in a romantic relationship with Alec Murdaugh's eldest son, Buster, were flying all over the place. Not only rumors that they were together, rumors that he did it. A lot of rumors. People in the town quickly began to wonder if Stephen might have fallen victim to a hate crime or that the Murdaugh family was somehow involved in his death. But we'll dissect this a little more later. But first, let's talk about the second mysterious death that was linked to the Murdaugh family, shall we? You want to move on to suspicious death number 2, Andy?
Hey, listen, it's only 2 suspicious deaths so far. Okay,
is that it?
Family's got like 2 of those, right? We'll talk later.
Okay. Andy, you're about to be featured on an episode. We got to get some of your relatives in here for interviews. But on February 2nd, 2018, while working at the Murdaugh's vast ranch property, Gloria Satterfield, the Murdaugh's housekeeper, sustained a very serious head injury.
911, where's your emergency? My housekeeper has fallen and her head is bleeding. I cannot get her up. Okay, you said she's fallen. She's bleeding from the head? Yes. Okay. How old is she? I'm not sure, like 58 maybe. Do you know if she fell from standing or not? No. Where'd she fall from? She fell going up the steps, up the brick steps. Okay, so she outside or inside? Outside. Okay. How many steps is there? 8. Okay, is she on the ground or is she up near the top? She's on the ground. She's on the ground. Is she conscious? No, not really. Is she awake at all? Yes. Okay. Is she just not, like, responding appropriately, but she is awake? Man, she's not responding. Okay, I've already got them on the way. Me asking questions does not slow them down, man. Knowing if she's conscious is one of the things that the medic needs to know if she's responding at all to you. No. Okay, so she's not responsive at all. Well, I mean, she's mumbling. Okay, so she is somewhat conscious. Is she breathing okay? Yes. Is she bleeding from anywhere? Yes, her head. Okay, are you guys able to control the bleeding? No. Can you put a clean rag or anything on it? Yeah, I got it. Okay, is she bleeding from, like, her face, the back of the head? I've got an ambulance coming. Sir, my name what? Where exactly is she bleeding from on her head? I'm not sure, at the top of her head. Okay. What's it okay? Oh, gosh. What happened? She just fell back down. Can I get off this phone so I can go down there? Can I have your name and phone number? Or are you able to bring the phone down by her? What? Are you on a cell phone where you can walk down there and talk? I'm on a cell phone. No. Okay, can you bring it with you so we can ask her some questions about what kind of pain she's having? Hello? Yeah, can you ask the patient what kind of pain she's having? Ma'am, she can't talk. Okay, do you know... She's cracked her head and there's blood on the concrete and she's bleeding out of her left ear. Okay, she's bleeding out of her ear? And out of her head. She's cracked her skull. Okay. All right, the other lady said that she had tried to stand up and fell down again? No, I was holding her up. And okay. She told me to turn her loose and she was trying to use her arm, but then she fell back over. Okay, do you guys know who she is? Yes, she works for us. Okay, do you know if she's ever had a stroke or anything before? Ma'am, can you stop asking her to questions? I already have them on the way. Me asking questions does not slow them down in any way. These are relevant questions that I have to ask for the ambulance. One of my questions is, has she ever had a stroke? I don't believe she's ever had a stroke, not that I know of. Okay, is she able to talk to you guys at all, or is she unconscious now? She's not unconscious, she's just mumbling. Okay. I believe she's maybe hit her head and maybe has a concussion or something. Okay. Maybe. Do you know what her name is? Gloria Satterfield. You said Sanderfield? Ma'am? You said Sanderfield? Satterfield. Satterfield. Okay, what's the house look like out there?
It's offset off the road.
Okay.
It's a big house, got a long driveway.
With a long driveway?
Yeah.
Is there a gate or anything down there that they're going to need to come through?
There's two big brick columns that have to come through.
Okay, but there's no, like, gate code or anything that they need?
No, ma'am. And tell them that they can look for a fellow on a 6x6 Ranger.
Okay.
Waiting on them in the road is green. You know what they probably know what the Ranger looks like.
Yeah. You said, like,
Fella's
green.
got on a black sweater, a hat, and pants.
Okay. All right. If something changes with her, if she loses consciousness or anything like that, I need one of you guys to call me back right away, okay?
Okay, well, how long is it going to take? Because this took us...
That I don't know. I've had them on the way since Maggie first called me. They were toned right away.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, but like I said, if something changes, call me back.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Tragically, Gloria passed away on February 26 due to multiple complications, including a stroke. And the circumstances surrounding her death remain uncertain, but very suspicious. The questions began after it came out that there was never a report made to the local coroner, nor was there an autopsy. Oddly enough, authorities later described her death as both natural and accidental. So take that as what you will, Andy. I guess accidents are natural things. They do occur naturally.
I mean, if we're getting philosophical here, I guess, but not really the place for this, coroner.
Not really the place for it at all. The circumstances surrounding Satterfield's death become even more suspicious later when Alec Murdaugh, along with banker Chad Westendorf and attorney Corey Fleming, conspired to collect Satterfield's $4.3 million insurance policy all for themselves. Their scheme involved deceiving Gloria's sons and diverting the entire policy payout to Alec through a fake business that he set up called Forge. Guys, I highly recommend, if you haven't watched the HBO series, watch that because there is an episode that covers this. It's only a 3-episode series, but this whole event is covered in the episode and it explains it in such detail. And just the sneakiness, the heartlessness for him to take advantage of Gloria's sons at this time is unbelievable. But the way he did it, even this Forge account, everything was done on purpose. This man has been a white-collar criminal for a long time.
Yeah, you don't hold a family law dynasty for 83 years without learning a few cons along the way.
You got that right. Now, in order for the scam to work, Alec convinced the Satterfield boys to file a lawsuit against himself, against Alec, with the expectation of receiving a large payout from the insurance company. But like all good con men, Alec was going to keep all the money for himself, of course. Alec's behavior following her death became increasingly suspicious, as he not only got there before EMTs on the scene, but he also claimed to have heard Gloria blaming her fall on his dogs, despite her later contradicting this statement, claiming that she had no knowledge of what actually happened.
I mean, that's one of the few questioning things. It's like, yes, if you do have a serious head injury, you may wake up and say, I think I tripped over the dogs. And then you wake up a few hours later and you might not remember. So that's the only questionable thing. But still, it's like, how'd you beat EMTs there? Why'd you know to be there before EMTs?
Also, Andy, she didn't say anything about the dogs. The reason this whole dog story came up was actually at the funeral. He approached her sons at the funeral and said, "Here, I want to pay for the expenses. I want to pay for the funeral. It happened on my property. I'm taking responsibility. They were my dogs." And the boys are like, "What? What are you talking about?" He's like, "Well, she tripped over my dogs. My dog's running around." That is where that alibi was established. That simply, just that casual. Just let me pay for it. It was my dogs.
Oh, obviously. Well, there you go. You just took blame for it. So good on you, con man.
Yeah, your dogs. But luckily, in the end, though, Gloria's sons successfully reclaimed over $6.5 million through subsequent legal proceedings. So they got theirs in the end. Also, authorities were granted permission in June of 2022 to exhume Satterfield's remains. And as far as we know, they're still investigating her death. So, let's jump ahead now to 2019, the death of Mallory Beach. On the evening of February 24th, 2019, a group of friends, including the then 19-year-old Paul Murdaugh, were on their way back to the Murdaugh estate after a night of binge drinking. They were all riding in Murdaugh's boat, and he insisted on driving, even though being just piss drunk. He was steering the boat recklessly, and eventually Paul collided with the Archers Creek Bridge, one of the big pillars that supported the bridge. On impact, several of the passengers were thrown from the boat, notably 19-year-old Mallory Beach. The crash would claim the life of the 19-year-old, and it would take authorities a week to locate and retrieve Mallory's body, which was 5 miles down the river from the crash spot. And when arriving at the hospital, Paul was still intoxicated and uncooperative. Yet, despite this, authorities never recorded his intoxication levels for some reason. But then Big Daddy Alex showed up and started threatening and trying to persuade the remaining witnesses. With Alec trying to clear his family name, one witness went so far as to say the whole situation started to feel like a weird, corny teen drama.
I don't want to wait for my life. Yeah, just kept seeing it's like a One Tree Hill episode. What is happening here?
Exactly. But I mean, in all honesty, though, this is an absolute nightmare. I think that was kind of a trauma response to try to make a joke about that at that time. But this is a horrific scene.
I do think
the documentary actually opens with this, and it's horrifying.
I do feel like that's probably what how those teenagers kind of felt, though, where feel like sitting there in like an emergency room and just looking around, like seeing this like fancy lawyer who's like the big guy in your town come in and start telling you what it's like. Are we on an episode of Dawson's Creek? What is?
Yeah,
oh my God, what
insane,
happened,
dude? It's pretty insane. And then there is so much body cam footage from the police who responded to the actual boat accident. There's so much audio of the kids who were on the boat. I say kids, but some of them were 21. Some of them are actually drinking age. But all in all, in 2019, Paul faced 3 felony charges for operating a boat under the influence, to which he entered a plea of not guilty, of course. The entire Murdaugh family would come under the microscope, though, because of Mallory's death, with her family claiming Alec, his brother, and his sons had used their power and influence to try and cover up the true cause of their daughter's death. A prime example of that power was used to delay the trial of Paul Murdaugh as long as possible, in hopes of having the case dismissed. However, in June of 2021, with the court date approaching and Paul set to appear at the trial for Mallory Beach's death, the entire case was about to be turned on its head. And as 2021 slowly crept along for the Murdaughs, the family tension was growing. Maggie, Alec's wife of 30 years, was living separately from her husband and reportedly speaking to a divorce attorney. With Alex mounting legal troubles, his house of cards was about to crumble. I just had to get a House of Cards reference in there, Andy.
Oh, it did feel like a very Frank Underwood.
It's South Carolina, too. It's
I know.
Come on, man.
That ring snap, just dun dun.
Seriously. So let's get into the double murder that shocked Hampton County to its core. On June 7, 2021, Alec Murdaugh lured Maggie out to the family's ranch house. At that time, Maggie had messaged a friend about Alec's behavior. Allegedly, she wrote, "He's up to something." When she got to the ranch house, Maggie saw her son Paul near the family dog kennels. And suddenly, both of them were violently attacked, with Maggie suffering wounds from an assault rifle and Paul falling victim to a shotgun blast to the head. Alec, who apparently arrived on the scene just after the attack, as he usually does, called 911 to report the deaths of his wife and son.
Where's your emergency?
This is Alec Murdaugh at 4147 Moselle Road. I need the police to ambulance immediately. My wife and child just shot badly.
Stay on the line with me, okay? Yes, sir. Stay on the line with me, okay? Okay.
Colin County Communications.
Collison, I have an Alex Murdaugh on the line, caller from 4147 Moselle Road. He's advising that his wife and child was shot.
Okay. Okay, and are they breathing?
No, ma'am.
Okay, and you said it's your wife and your son?
My wife and my son.
Are they in a vehicle?
No, ma'am. They're on the ground out at my kennels.
Okay, and did you see anyone? Okay, is he breathing at all?
No.
Is she? Okay, do you see anything? Do you see anyone in the area?
No, ma'am. No, ma'am.
What color is your house on the outside? What color is your house on the outside?
It's white. You can't see it from the road.
Okay, is it a house or a mobile home?
It's a house.
Okay, and what is your name?
My name is Alec Murdaugh.
Okay, did you hear anything, or did you come home and find them?
No, man, I've been gone. I just came back.
Okay, and was anyone else supposed to be at your house?
No, ma'am. Please hurry.
We're getting somebody out there to you. Okay, what is her name?
Maggie and Paul.
Maggie is her name?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And please hurry.
We're getting somebody out there to you. Me asking you these questions don't slow them down, okay? And you sure they're not breathing? Is he moving at all, your son? I know you said that she was shot, but what about your son?
Nobody. They're not. Neither one of them's moving.
Okay.
Are they close, ma'am?
Yeah, they've been en route with you ever since you've got on the phone with me. I have multiple people coming out there to you. Okay. I don't want you to touch them at all, okay? I don't know if you've already touched them, but I don't want you to touch them just in case they can get any kind of evidence, okay?
I'd already touched them trying to get to see if they were breathing.
Okay. Well, I just don't want you to move anything just in case they can get any kind of evidence, okay?
After the news of the murders broke, he quickly became a prime suspect. And as an extra twist of the knife for Alec, 3 days later, his father, Randolph III, passed away as well.
That was probably going to be his lifeline there. His he was going to have to run to his daddy to be like, Dad, I don't know what to do.
He lost his security blanket. He lost the family protector. You know, they called him Handsome. That's so weird. Yeah, that was like his nickname. They also said that in the documentary as well. Ugh. Yeah, Randolph, they called him Handsome.
Gross.
Yeah, he was like in everybody's phone as that and stuff. It's like a nickname. But just a few weeks after the murders of his wife and son, the police would reopen the investigation into the death of Stephen Smith, the young man who was killed in this supposed hit and run. Apparently, in their digging into the murders of Paul and Maggie, they found evidence that changed the way that they initially viewed Stephen's death. Also, on September 3rd, 2021, Alec Murdaugh would quietly resign from the law firm his family built after being confronted by his partners regarding his embezzlement activities. Although this information wouldn't be made public until a few days afterwards, and you'll see why. Because the very next day, on September 4th, 2021, a 911 operator would receive a very odd phone call from Alex Murdaugh.
Hampton County 911, what is your emergency?
On Salkehatchie Road.
Okay, what's the address on Salkehatchie Road?
I'm by the church.
What church? What church are you talking about?
I don't know the name of it with the red roof.
Okay, what end of Salkehatchie Road? Because I don't know what you're talking about.
At the Hampton County side.
Okay, what's going on?
I got a flat tire,
and
I stopped, and somebody stopped to help me, and when I turned my back, they tried to shoot me.
Oh, okay. Were you shot?
Yes, but I mean, I'm okay.
You shot where? Where were you shot at?
Huh?
Did they actually shoot you or they tried to shoot you?
They shot me, but...
Okay, you need EMS?
Well, I mean, yes, I can't drive.
Okay.
I'm trouble seeing and I'm bleeding a lot.
Where part of your body?
I'm not sure. Somewhere on my head.
Your head?
Somewhere on my head. Somebody just stopped for me, ma'am. For 911.
Okay. Still?
Hey.
Okay, let me speak to him, see if he can tell me exactly where you are.
Where? Salkehatchie Road.
Okay, and what's your name? I'm still here. I'm still on the line with you. What's your name?
Alex Murdaugh.
Alex Murdaugh?
Yes, ma'am.
And you see you were driving, you got a flat tire, somebody stopped to help you and they shot you?
Well, they pulled over, yes, ma'am, like they were going to help me.
Okay, stay on the line with me. We're going to get some.
I'm bleeding pretty bad.
Okay.
St. John's Missionary Church.
St. John's Missionary Church?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
The SUV is right where he's at.
And can you give me a description of the person that shot you or shot at you?
Yes, ma'am. I mean, it was a white fella.
Contact number for you?
I'd say
A white male?
a fair amount younger than me. Really, really short hair.
I'll have my dog. You said it out that way, okay? All right.
You have an ambulance coming, ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Stay on the line. I got them on the way.
You think one of y'all can drive me to the hospital?
Yes, sir. You want to get the trunk, though, because I got a baby and he's in the back.
One of y'all could get in this car and drive me?
Yes, sir.
They're going to drive me to the hospital. Ma'am?
Is it cranked?
Yeah, it should be cranked, and that puts it in drive.
911, where's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am, I lost you. This young lady is driving me to the hospital.
She's carrying you to the hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And who's this?
This is Alex Murdaugh. I was on the phone a minute ago.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
He said that somebody's taking him to the hospital. Okay.
Oh, you know what? We got a flat tire.
Got to 1012.
Ma'am, I need the ambulance.
You need the ambulance? Okay. Are you still in the same location?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Which way are y'all heading? Are y'all driving down the road?
No, ma'am. I got a flat tire.
Okay. All right. Sit tight right there, okay?
Ma'am?
Okay. Yes, sir. We're still here. Hold on. We're dispatching now, giving them information. Where are you at?
I want to get this all over your car.
10 for Old Salcahatchee near the St. John.
All right, now they're taking me to the hospital.
Okay, so which way are y'all traveling?
We're coming down Salcahatchee Road to the Hampton Hospital.
Y'all coming down Salcahatchee?
Ma'am?
Y'all coming down Salcahatchee Road to the hospital?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. They said that they're coming down. They're coming down Salcahatchee Road heading towards the hospital. But all right, we're gonna keep EMS en route to you. Okay.
Okay.
Are you coming off of Walterboro Highway?
We'll be at Walterboro Highway in 10 minutes or so.
They said in about 10 minutes or so they'll be at Walterboro Highway. Mhm. Okay.
I'm gonna hang up, ma'am.
Okay, then you.
According to him, Alex claimed that he was changing a flat tire on his car when a passerby stopped to provide assistance. Instead of lending a helping hand, though, they just shot him in the head.
Ah.
You know how that happens, Andy.
Oh, the Good Samaritan story, right?
Something like that.
Need help with that flat tire?
Well, he's a Samaritan.
Bang.
But although evidence indicated that Alex had indeed suffered a gunshot wound to his head, they were still very skeptical of the story, as they should be. And it didn't take long for police to convince Alex to tell them what actually happened to him on that day. So, new story here, Andy, okay? Probably also bullshit.
All right, remix.
But new story. Alex revealed on September 14th his true evil plan, which was setting up an event where his friend would shoot and kill him. Okay? Therefore, allowing Buster, his oldest son and surviving son, to claim the substantial $10 million life insurance policy that he had on himself. The authorities arrested Murdaugh and his partner in crime, Curtis Smith, who was Alex's drug dealer as well as his former client.
I'm sure he had a little bit of leverage under Curtis Smith there too. So it's like,
oh
you
yeah,
do this for me. I think you're probably gonna get a little bit of this too. You know, you
oh,
scratch my back and shoot me, and you get a little.
Curtis Smith seemed like his connect to the underworld. He was kind of the guy that got his hands dirty for him. Who knows how many things this guy was involved in?
His goon, so to speak.
Yeah, right. But Smith himself faced charges of illegal assisted suicide, while both individuals were accused of conspiring to commit insurance fraud. Consequently, Alec's law license was promptly suspended, leading to his disbarment.
Oh, about time.
It is about time. Alex was able to post his bond, though, and voluntarily admitted himself into a rehabilitation center for what he claimed was years of opioid abuse. I think he's just trying to gain like some sympathy here.
He's trying to play some
He's playing
sort
the
of,
sympathy card. He's like, I'm just a human. I was under the influence.
I wasn't thinking clearly. I'm an addict. I'm struggling.
Yeah. However, upon his release from the facility, he was apprehended for engaging in felony fraud pertaining to the Gloria Satterfield case. In this instance, his request for bail was rejected completely, and any assets he possessed were frozen.
It's a great way to leave
stuck
a rehab clinic. It's like, ding, 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 you're clear. Put these handcuffs on. What? Oh, shit.
One prison to the next, my friend.
Oh, damn it.
Yep, and that's where he belongs. At this point, the Murdaugh case had gained national attention, and headlines were popping up daily with theories and accusations against Alec and his family. Alec was being held on the fraud charges, and the entire time he was behind bars, further allegations and charges were being found and about to be brought against him. From November 2021 to July of 2022, Alex Murdaugh and his co-conspirators faced dozens of indictments. Additionally, allegations from the community concerning the family's misuse of their influence persisted on social media and in the local news. He couldn't get away from it anywhere. After gaining mainstream attention through multiple podcasts, YouTube videos, and documentaries, and over a year of investigating the murders, Alex Murdaugh was finally indicted for the killings of both his wife Maggie and his youngest son Paul on July 14th of 2022. However, it seems that Alec had no intention of making this easy on anybody. And on July 20th of 2022, he entered a plea of not guilty, marking the initiation of a series of complicated and very frustrating court proceedings. And his trial would finally begin on January 23rd, 2023.
I really thought he was, I think he really was thinking he was going to be able to rely on his abilities as a lawyer.
He did.
As a prosecutor, he was going to be able to work this system and like, he was going to be able to defend himself. So I just love, like, spoiler, when the judge just turns around, he's like, you would never, how did you ever win a case?
Well, I think denying him bail and making it so out of reach, but because I think later when he's finally arrested, his bail is set at like $7 million. Yeah. It's ridiculous. So like he doesn't ever get to be free again. But I think by doing this, they've kind of taken away his main method, which was buy time. Mm-hmm. It was like, let's see how long we can delay this. Let's delay it. Because the further you get away from a case, the less heart-wrenching it is.
And the less clear the memories are. The more you can say, this was so long ago. Are you sure you're remembering this right? Yeah.
And in the meantime, you have a better chance to game plan and gather evidence and figure out what you're going to do, right? Yep. And in this instance, he had no time.
Nope, they wouldn't give it to him this time.
No, he could not. He couldn't talk to any co-conspirators, and other people were coming forward too. But guys, a large amount of the evidence showcased by the prosecution may have been heavily circumstantial, yet it consistently captivated the jury and all the onlookers. However, bombshell evidence would finally be revealed by the prosecution that would seal the fate of Alex Murdaugh forever. A previously unseen cell phone recording taken from Paul's phone that captured the moments shortly before his death.
Bum, bum, bum.
Dude, this is so brilliant.
It's just that Law and Order closing
just
scene
let you
right
know,
there.
man, you're always on footage, man. But in this footage, Paul can be seen playfully interacting with one of the dogs while at the kennels. But in the background of the video, there are two other distinctive voices that are calling out. One is his mom, Maggie, and the other is their killer, his father, Alec Murdaugh.
Bum, bum, bum.
Yeah. Alec would try to take the stand and defend himself against the damning evidence, telling the court in his previous claim that he hadn't been down to the dog kennels that day, which was a lie, and he'd only returned to the house briefly before Maggie and Paul were shot.
Yeah, he was saying originally, I was never even at the house.
He was never
I just
there.
Showed up there right and found the bodies. And then he's like, I was there a little bit before that, and I went down and I went down to the kennels, but then I went back. You're like,
right.
You forgot all that the first time?
Forgot all that, man. Yeah, there was no denying that this was a flimsy excuse, that he was just trying to make up on the spot, and both the judge and the jury could see right through his freaking lies. And finally, on March 2nd, 2023, after only deliberating for less than 2 hours, the jury would find him guilty on both charges. Alec Murdaugh was given 2 consecutive life sentences for the killings of his wife Maggie and their son Paul, and he's been serving his sentence in the Kirkland Correctional Institution in Columbia, South Carolina.
It's a maximum security prison, by the way. I just imagine like the longtime corrupt state prosecutor from South Carolina in a maximum security South Carolina. He's fucked.
Yeah.
Like you're fucked, dude.
Yeah.
I've seen Reacher. You're fucked.
Right? And all the people that he's tied to and the murders that he's tied to, like, that's good enough for criminals. They're like, good enough.
Yeah, good enough.
Good enough. So now with Murdaugh behind bars, there have still been ongoing investigations into the decades of financial crimes that he and his family have been a part of, along with reopening the investigations of Stephen Smith and digging further into the death of Gloria Satterfield, with Stephen's body even being exhumed in 2023 for further examinations, and his death now being treated as a murder instead of a hit and run. And just recently, Alec Murdaugh accepted a plea deal in regards to some of the numerous fraud and financial crimes that he'd been accused of, only adding more time to his 2 consecutive life sentences. It's like, who cares at this point, right?
Yeah, it's like, yeah, whatever. Just you add an asterisk. Go ahead.
Yeah. And one of the most aggravating things about this is that his surviving son, Buster, who is still free, by the way, is still denying any involvement in any of the Murdaugh crimes, especially the Stephen Smith crime.
Yeah, he feels like he can distance himself from Paul and Maggie, but they're like, yeah, we're not really concerned about that. He's like, but I didn't. Shit.
Yeah, we're more concerned about the Stephen one, the person that you were rumored to be involved with.
Yeah, the one that you're directly connected to. He's like,
yeah.
why are we still talking about that, right?
Right? We don't want to talk about this. But yeah, Buster is still doing interviews now. There's all types of videos on YouTube and whatnot because if you watch the documentary, I think it was made in 2021 or early 2022. So there has been quite a bit of stuff come out since the documentary. So, it's not the full story, but it's excellent insight into each of these main murders that the Murdaughs were most absolutely involved in. Absolutely. So guys, that's it. That's the case. That's what we know so far about Alec Murdaugh. Shit, I think anything else that comes out in the future will probably just be like white collar crime. I think we've pretty much
that, and hopefully Buster gets connected to Stephen Smith. That's the one real thing they're trying to connect.
Yeah.
And the possibility of anything connected to Gloria Satterfield, but that's even still more of the financial crime about that.
Yeah,
her death very well could have just been an accident. And they just quickly tried to cover it up and get the money.
But check this out, dude. With her death, have you heard the 911 calls when she was killed?
Yeah.
Because, yes, Alex showed up, but, Maggie and Paul were there as well. Mm-hmm. And Maggie called 911, and she is extremely, she just sounds so agitated at the 911 operator because they're asking questions. And then at some point in time, she puts Paul on the phone, and he's even worse. He's just like, lady, what's with all the questions? Just send somebody out here. And she's like, someone is coming out there. What I'm asking you is not hurting anything.
Yeah, they're already on the way.
Yeah, they're already on the way.
Filling in the paperwork.
Exactly. I'm just trying to get you to fumble into committing.
I'm just trying to get you to tell me that you did this. I'm sorry, what? I mean...
Exactly.
But no, yeah, you can very much hear that. I don't want to say that like entitled attitude, but just that generational power and wealth that lady, I told you to do something. Why aren't you doing it?
Yeah.
I'm calling you. They just have that attitude and that,
For real. And if I was able to find this stuff, guys, I probably put it in the episode if I was able to get it. I never know. I always look that stuff up in post as far as, what we can have the rights to, what could get demonetized on YouTube or whatever. But if I am able to find it, it most likely will not be on the YouTube video. If you guys are watching in video form, you might want to check it out in podcast form, and we'll have all the audio that we can find in there, all the 911 calls, because they are very important. I think so, especially in the Gloria Satterfield case. Hearing the way Maggie and Paul, it's like an inconvenience. It's like there's somebody cutting the catalytic converter off their car. That's the way they're talking about it. It's not. It's
almost
not a big crime.
Control. It's like, can you come get this thing out of my yard? Come on, I called you. This is inconveniencing me. I don't want to deal with this. Come deal with this.
Exactly. So yeah, if I was able to find that, obviously I put that in the episode. Maybe I did. But guys, thank you for listening. And if you are on YouTube, please smash that subscribe button before you head out of here. You can also check us out on Patreon. And also, guys, support our lovely sponsors because they support us. Right? Support any ads that you hear at True Crime Guys. If you could, please click on links below the description of this episode to anything that you hear advertised in this episode, and that includes Oh My Gaia.
Oh, those Murdaughs gonna need some Oh My Gaia. They'd be sweating in prison. They're gonna be stinking.
I think they are long past that.
Sweating in their jumpers right now.
They are indeed, sir. Oh My Gaia is an innovative, all-natural deodorant, fragrance, and beard oil company specializing in paraben and aluminum-free products. And their innovative line of deodorants inhibit the growth of odor-causing bacteria while still maintaining effectiveness. And guys, there are tons of scents to choose from at ohmygaia.com, like vanilla, cherry almond, lavender, sandalwood. I don't know why I said that so weird. I was going to say the next one, and then I just decided to go with sandalwood.
Drawing that southern accent.
Sandalwood. We got lavender. We got a lemongrass. I don't know why I'm doing like a Georgian.
Getting a real drawl.
Getting like a Georgia accent there.
A little Savannah.
But yeah, guys, there's tons of scents to choose from, okay? And we also got True Crime Pine. If you don't know where to start, I recommend there. True Crime Pine's great unisex scent, looks great, and it advertises for your favorite podcast. I mean, come on.
Because I use on my beard in this wintertime.
Ooh, you got a little TCG beard oil?
Oh, that True
You
Crime
got the beard
Pine
oil?
beard.
I forgot
Keeps it
about
nice
the
and
beard
smooth,
oil,
man.
and they
Keeps
also
it
have
nice and
scented oil.
smooth in the wintertime.
That's right. It keeps that beard from getting all spryly. You know, it's sticking out everywhere. But guys, because you are True Crime Guys listeners, you can use the code word CREEPER for 15% off your order. That's CREEPER for 15% off at ohmygaia.com or at shop_ohmygaia on Instagram. That's OHMYGAIA.com, guys. All natural deodorant, oils, beard oils. You guys won't regret it. Check it out.
It smells so fresh for the holiday season, baby.
So fresh.
Some great stocking stuffers right there too, guys. Just throw a couple jars, couple little scents in there.
Yeah.
People like those things, man.
Yeah, or a yearly membership to Patreon would be a great gift for somebody.
Right?
Don't you think?
I think it's a pretty good membership too. I think it's a good Christmas. It's
pretty-
Christmas gift.
Pretty good Christmas gift.
Look how much time I've just given you.
I'm
giving you hundreds of hours of entertainment.
Right.
Are you not entertained?
It's the gift that keeps on giving. Patreon.com/True Crime Guys. We talk about it all the time, guys, but it is the main way to support the show. If you can, there is a link right below here. We are still doing 7-day free trials on the $2 tier. If you guys would like to check that out, that is available until January 1st. January 1st, we will no longer have the free trials. So get them while they last, guys, through this holiday season, because Happy New Year, you got to pay now.
Welcome to the future.
Sorry, guys. But yeah, we understand obviously, if you guys have to leave your membership, no big deal. But we thank you for supporting the show. We thank you for listening. Tell your friends. We're on social media at True Crime Guys. Make sure you give us a follow on there, where we share clips from every single episode, so you guys will always be up to date on what's coming out when and all that good stuff. All right. Also, check us out on Spotify. As an artist, True Crime Guys, we have multiple music albums out. We got Truths and Tragedies, as well as Killer Mixtape and a single out there, and some more in the works. So you guys can go listen. If you enjoy some of the intro music that we do here at True Crime Guys, you guys can listen to some of our favorite tracks from there and fan favorites, wherever you listen to music, actually.
Yeah, try to make that album go platinum. Let's go.
That's right.
Coming from
all
you,
right.
Bieber. Let's go.
Anything else, Andy?
Nah, man, I think we're good. We got a couple more episodes, and we hit some Patreon stuff. We got holidays coming up. Yeah, we got a few good things coming down the pipe, man.
No doubt. All right, guys. Well, until then, just keep on creeping. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
So let's start off this case learning a little about. Let me just get some water to start this case off.
Talk a little about.
Let me talk a little about. Maybe I talked about him a little about. Okay.
Little about.
All right.
It's his rap name.
Mm-hmm. All right.